Hello and welcome to In Conversation with WLV Doctoral College. I'm Dr Deborah Curiton and I'm the Research Development Manager at the University of Wolverhampton.
And I'm Dr Ben Halligan, I'm Director of the Doctoral College.
What we're going to talk about today is that last little bit of the doctorate. So you've done your Viva, you've been given either minor modifications or a resubmission, and that old chestnut about when you can call yourself doctor.
When you can call yourself doctor.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's when the doctorate has been formally awarded, but I think what we want to talk about is this interregnum around this, because some people can jump the gun a bit and it can cause a few problems.
Mm-hmm.
But I suppose we're talking about that final phase where you've had your Viva, maybe you've had resubmission, maybe you've had a second Viva, but essentially you're in the area of minor corrections.
Yeah.
So a few things that you've done, and these can be asked as formal minor corrections with, for most universities, 3 months,
Yeah.
or even informal, whereby essentially you pass, but they may need a little bit of presentation stuff sorted out. So you've done these, or you're doing these, and when you've done them, they need to be examined by the internal and or the external examiner. So it could be that, as far as you're concerned, you've done the corrections and you've sent them off, so you're pretty much now, you've done what they've asked you to do, so you're pretty much now a doctor. But that isn't quite the case just yet, and I think that's what we want to talk about today. So what happens at most universities around this particular process? Well, the corrected thesis will be given to one or two of the examiners, i.e. definitely to the internal, maybe to the external, depending on the level of corrections. And they will look at it and decide whether corrections have or haven't been done. So problem number one is they may get back to you and they may say, we asked you to sort out a couple of tables, but we're still not happy with what you've got. So there may be a little bit of back and forth. Just because you think it's been done doesn't mean they're going to agree that it's been done. So that's problem number one. Even if they like it and decide it's okay, they still need to sign off a document, a form to say that. And it could be that there's a holiday or one's away or they're a bit busy. So there could be some delay, especially with an external examiner, in looking at the corrections, signing the form and getting back to you, even if the corrections are really small. So that's problem number two. When that form is returned to the university will have a committee that awards PhDs. And that committee may not be sitting for a couple of weeks or a month. So there may be a bit of a delay, which is quite normal, is the case with undergraduates and exam boards and so on. So problem number three is there may be just a bureaucratic delay at the university's end. When that committee has decided that the degree should be awarded, you'll receive a letter that says congratulations on the award of doctorate, and probably a bit later a certificate. But the letter itself denotes that you're now a doctor and an award. But obviously that will need to come from some research support colleagues, and that may take a bit of time. It's going to be posted to you. They may need to verify your address and so on. So that's also a problem. So there are quite a few stages before you've actually got the letter that proves you're a doctor.
So it's once you get that letter to say that your corrections have been accepted and the award has gone to the awards subcommittee or the awards committee and has been verified by the university. Yeah,
some universities will send such a letter saying that pending verification you will be awarded a PhD or professional doctorate. Some universities will wait until that committee has sat and signed everything off before sending that letter.
Yeah.
One of the issues around this is that if you want to go to graduation, you can get caught up slightly in this timeline which is beyond the control maybe of yourself and beyond the control of the university. Yeah. So quite typically you would aim for the kind of summer graduation. You may have your corrections done. You may have family coming and booking hotels and flying in from other countries, who knows what.
Yeah.
But it may be that you're still waiting for the examiners to actually sign off and for the degree to be awarded. So there can be a bit of a push at that point.
Yeah.
The only advice I can give there is really absolutely make sure that the PhD is on course to be awarded in time for graduation before people book flights, hotels, hire gowns, things like that. Every university has this issue because it's quite complicated.
At Wolverhampton we have 2 graduation ceremonies a year, don't we? So we have one around this time of year. We're recording in August, so we have a September graduation ceremony, and that's where all our undergraduates graduate, as well as some of our master's students and some of our PhD students or doctoral students. But we also have a postgraduate congregation in Easter time each year, and that's where the majority of our doctoral students will graduate, and the majority of the master's students, and some of the nursing undergraduate students, because there are 2 cohorts.
So I guess one of the issues is that if you've yet to be awarded your doctorate, then there are 2 things that I would advise against. One is going around telling everybody you're now a doctor, you've been awarded your doctorate, because it could be that will catch the eye of your supervisor, the examiners, the university, and they know it's not quite true. So that can be a sort of exuberant error, but it's probably better to wait to formal notification. But the second is where perhaps you're in the process of applying for jobs, and you've told them that you're about to be awarded your doctorate, but in fact you're still caught up in maybe some discussion around minor corrections, have they been done or haven't they been done, or you're waiting for the committee to sit. So if in the application for a job they want to see a certificate to say you've got a PhD, you won't have that, and if that then folds into time-sensitive durations of the completion of documentation for the job offer, then that could be a problem. So I think my advice would be that it's really worth being precise to say that I'm waiting for the minor corrections that I've submitted to be confirmed, and I anticipate the award of my doctorate in the next 4 weeks or something like that, rather than just say I have a doctorate when that's not quite the case.
I think there's a benefit to being honest about that with your future employers as well, because my first ever job, I was in I'd done my Viva, I was doing my corrections, and when I applied for the job, I was honest about where I was, and they were quite happy about it. They said, okay, we won't appoint you as a postdoc until you've actually got that piece of paper. So your first couple of months you'll be a research assistant or a research associate, and then once you've got that piece of paper, we'll move you on to the grade of a postdoc. But for those first couple of months, we will also give you time out of your working life to be able to focus on finishing making those corrections. And actually my corrections, I didn't have lots of corrections to do, so that was very minimal, what I needed to do, and that process was quite swift and quick.
I mean, I suppose the other element is where you have visas that are about to expire. So where we have international research colleagues, it can be quite tricky if you want to extend the visa to stay in the country, but it's dependent on the PhD being awarded and so forth. So that, I suppose, can add another level of complication. But I think, as you say, most employers will be very aware that this isn't a driving test scenario. It's not yes or no, but in fact there's actually further complications before the final award. So the take-home message is? The take-home message is, if you're going to tweet, don't tweet congratulations Dr. so-and-so who's just done their Viva. Use a soon-to-be doctor or words to that effect. Don't tell people that you've got your doctorate when you're in the middle of your corrections. Be honest. And if you are honest, you'll probably find future employers will be quite supportive of you within the corrections process. Wait for that letter. That's it, exactly. Cool. Well,
Thank you for listening, and if you like our videos, please do subscribe to our channel. And also, if you've got any ideas for videos you would like us to do, please pop them into the comments below. So we look forward to seeing you again sometime. Bye.
Bye.